Well, I want to begin by saying a few well-deserved thanks. You may or may not know that yesterday we had the first German United Methodist Analog Festival. And if I may be so bold, it blew me away how many people came out of the woodwork to share gifts. I had no idea that Jay Lizzo curated art galleries before we began collaborating on this event. And I definitely had no idea that he was connected to so many incredibly creative people. All of the art that you see around the church this morning that will be up here for the month of June was all curated by Jay. Friends of friends. Apparently, he's known in the art community in Los Angeles as the Ox. And that makes sense to me because he carried the day yesterday. So though he's not here, this is going on YouTube, which means it's going to be around forever. So would you join me as we say thank you to Jay Lizzo? Next, I want to say a huge thank you to Shauna and to Keith, who went above and beyond, setting up the canvases for shade outside, just hauling chairs and helping me haul speakers, and doing the graffiti poster out that's overlooking Kenilworth and Glen Oaks. Just unbelievable amounts of work behind the scenes. It would not have happened without Keith and Shauna. Would you give it up for Keith and Shauna this morning? I'm embarrassing them, but you guys deserve it. Not to be embarrassed, but to be thanked. There are many, many other people that I would like to thank as part of this event, and you'll hear me do it throughout the announcements as we go forward. But I wanted to set aside this moment this morning to say thanks to those who did the far and away the absolute most to make this event possible. So thank you to all of you. Finally, I want to say a thanks to Meg Kanian, who is not here this morning either, but Meg did the lettering on this beautiful painting here. But then we let the kids and the adults graffiti throughout the day. And so the text that you see so beautifully, with such beautiful orthography there on this painting, that was Meg's doing and not mine. So would you give it up for Meg as well? All right. And now the official announcements, I suppose we can get to those. So, like I said, we are starting this week a sermon series on Christian imagination, in which I hope to persuade you that our capacity to imagine a world like our own, but maybe just a little bit different than our own, is not just a matter of decoration or fancy or escapism, but is in fact the vital human faculty when it comes to living a life of Christian faith. We believe, even sometimes in spite of difficult and bordering on contradictory experience, that somehow, some way, this world that we share is the good creation of a good God, broken though it may be. We believe, somehow, some way, that God's Holy Spirit is alive in the church, bringing about new life in many unexpected ways. We believe that God has not set creation off to slowly erode down into entropy, but that God's power is alive in creation, bringing it into existence in every moment. We need to imagine the world full of God if we're going to partner with God to bring about a world in which the fullness of God is realized and responded to. So I hope with this series, as we speak with and hear from four of the most imaginative people of the 20th century, J.R.R. Tolkien this morning, C.S. Lewis next week, Fyodor Dostoevsky in 3 weeks, and finally Franz Kafka on the final Sunday of June. I hope to demonstrate to you that imagination, far from being the inferior second cousin who went to art school of reason, is actually the true seat of faith in human life and community. We are continuing our post-Sunday fellowship potlucks out in the courtyard, and we will be able to enjoy a good deal of shade this morning because of the canopies and because of the canvases put up by Keith and Shauna in this past weekend. All right, this is the draft of the press release for this art gallery here. So we're going to be printing these up over the next couple weeks. We're going to be giving the press release to the press here in Glendale and the wider city. We're going to be organizing in the next few days times that people can come and actually tour the space and see the art. So if you know people who are into art and you want to start a new conversation about Kunsthalle, about nonprofit organizations that devote their space for the pure purpose of creativity and community, please invite your friends to come, walk the halls, look upon some wonderful works of imagination, and have perhaps their own creativity stirred. And finally, I am thrilled to announce that the Analog Festival was just the inaugural event of something we're going to do every month here, starting June 30th. We're going to gather at a table out in the courtyard. We're going to have turntables set up for anybody who wants to come bring vinyl and put it on. And we are going to cook for each other and for our community, inviting anybody and everybody who would like to join to sit and feast at our open table. So that'll be Thursday, June 30th at 6:30 p.m., our first one. I have to go to annual conference next week after next, so I'll be over in Costa Mesa, and many of you may already know the Board of Ordained Ministries finally approved me to become what's called in United Methodism a full Jedi, which means that I get the green lightsaber, I can use the Force at will, and I get a license to shoot lightning out of my fingers. In all seriousness, what it means is that I am going to be ordained by the bishop of our annual conference, Bishop Grant Hagia, as part of an ordination service, and I will join the ranks of the United Methodist clergy, who are what are known in United Methodism as elders in full connection. And so if you would like to be a part of this ordination service in Costa Mesa, you are, of course, invited. So thank you all for your support as I've been going through this process over the past 10 years that is finally coming to an end. All right. We're gonna get a QR code up here next time that you can just take a picture of if you want to give online. But thank you so much for all of your support these many weeks. It has allowed us to put on this incredible event of community outreach. It allows us to continue to support refugees in Ukraine, and it allows for us to continue our ministry and our work here. All right. Are there any other announcements for the good? Yes, Keith.
So recently I've gotten into a situation where I need to find a home for a cat ASAP. She's fully house trained, spayed, she can be outside too, and she's very affectionate, and her name is Peaches. So if you're interested, please talk to me after the service.
If you would like to help Peaches the cat find a new home, please talk to Keith after the service. That's a very good announcement. Are there any other announcements for the good of the church this morning? Seeing none, let us continue in worship.